Sibo, is it a real diagnosis? Yes, and Sibo is a diagnosis that is based on underlying conditions such as scleroderma or gut resection. It is not ubiquitous in the population as it's grown to be. So here's a group of doctors, gastroenterologists, who have put together a review and a study, and this is from several different parts of the world, Northern Europe, Canada, and America primarily. And what they've done is a critical appraisal of the SIBO hypothesis and breath testing. And this is an update from the European Society of Neurogastroenterology and Motility and the American Neurogastroenterology and Motility Society. What this document is saying is that yes, SIBO is a real thing, and it occurs when people have underlying serious motility issues, and the symptoms you're going to find these people having are diarrhea and malabsorption. So if you have an autoimmune disease like scleroderma, which literally means hard skin, you can't have motility when the system is shut down because it's hard. Or you have a gut resection, you remove some of the small intestine. You can't have motility if the small intestine isn't there. So those are the two known underlying causes for small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So somebody had an idea, hey, maybe SIBO is more ubiquitous and maybe IBS is SIBO. But instead of using the scientific process, which would be you go into test the null hypothesis and you do lab studies and you do testing, that's not what happened with regard to SIBO. What happened was somebody had an idea, developed a breath test, developed an antibiotic treatment and pushed that forward, and then used humans as test subjects to test the theory. So for the past 20 years, we have been exposing our patients to copious amounts of Xifaxan, rifaximin, based on a hypothesis, not on a proven theory. So these gastroenterologists in the Northern EU, in Canada, and in America went back and looked over the past 2 decades of this influx of SIBO diagnoses, and they say that after 2 decades, this hypothesis remains unproven. Moreover, it has led to serious unintended consequences, namely the widespread use of unreliable and unvalidated tests as a diagnostic for SIBO and the resultant injudicious use of antibiotics. Okay, so now let's fast forward to 2025. It's been 20 years of using our patients as test subjects to prove this hypothesis, working not with the scientific method, but cowboy science. When I first realized this was happening, it was about 2014. And I went back to my medical school to do a class and teach a class. And I realized these students are being taught that they need to do this breath test, antibiotics, breath test, antibiotics. And now fast forward to now, and I'm seeing people who have had up to 12 courses of Xifaxan, rifaximin, plus metronidazole, plus erythromycin, plus neomycin. All of this based on a hypothesis, not a proven theory. And the caveat is that in a small amount of people, in about 20%, this works not because you're treating SIBO, because you're treating irritable bowel syndrome with diarrhea. So if you get some relief from your symptoms when you take Xifaxan or rifaximin, but then it comes back, you haven't treated the cause, first of all, and you have treated irritable bowel syndrome. I know this is not a popular conversation. I guess I'm not out to make friends. I'm out to shed some light on this problem and some truth behind it so that we wake up and desist from treating our patients like lab rats.